Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of Ulysses.
As.
Ulysses. James Joyce. Check. Tithe sec 5. L aromatic. Doesn't give him any of it. Show wine. Only the other. Cold comfort. Pious fraud, but quite right. Otherwise they'd have one old booser worse than another coming along. Cashing for a drink. Quay the whole atmosphere of the... Quite right. Perfectly right, that is. Mr. Bloom looked back towards the choir. Not going to be any music. Who has the organ here, I wonder? Oldling, he knew how to make that instrument talk. The vibrato. £50 a year, they say he had in Gardiner Street. Molly was in fine verse that day. The Stabat Mater of Rossini. Father Bernard von Simmon first. Christ our plate. Christ. But don't keep us all night over it. Music they wanted. Fautro stopped. Could hear up in drop. I told her to pitch her voice against that corner. I could feel the thrill in the air. The people looking up. Quis est homo. Some of that old sacred music splendid. Macadante. 7 last words. Mozart's 12th Mass. Gloria in that. Those old popes king on music. On art and statues and pictures of all kinds. Hilstrina, for example, too. They had a gay old time while it lasted. Healthy too. Chanting. Regular hours. Then brew liqueurs. Benedictine. Green sharpers. Still. Having a unit in their choir that was coming out a bit thick. What kind of voice is it? Must be curious to hear after they're in strong basses. Connoisseurs. Suppose they won't feel anything after. Kind of a placid. No worry. Fall into flesh. Don't they? Gluttons. Dull. All migs. Who knows? Eunuch. One way out of it. Bless all the people. All crossed themselves and stood up. Mr. Bloom glanced about him and then stood up, looking over the risen hats. Stand up at the gospel, of course. Bench. The priest came down from the altar, holding the thing out from him, and he and the mass boy answered each other in Latin. Then the priest knelt down and began to read off a card. O God, our refuge and our strength. Mr. Bloom put his face forward to catch the words. Envush. Throw them the burn. I remember slightly. How long since your last Mass? Glorious and Immaculate Virgin. Joseph. How sparse. Peter and Paul. More interesting if you understood what it was all about. Wonderful organisation, certainly. Goes like clockwork. Confession. Everyone wants to. Then I will tell you all. Anans. Punish me. Please. Great weapon in their hands. More than doctor or solicitor. Woman dying ter. And I And did you cha. And why did you? Look down at her ring to find an excuse. The spring gallery walls have ears. Husband known to his surprise. God's little joke. Then out she comes. Repentant skin deep. Lovely shame. Pray at an altar. Hail Mary and Holy Mary. Flowers. Incense. Candles melting. Hide her blushes. Salvation Army blatant imitation. Reformed prostitute will address the meeting. How I found the Lord. Squirry chaps those must be in Rome. They work the whole show. And don't they rake in the money too? The cost also. To the PP. For the time being in his absolute discretion. Masses for the repose of my soul to be said publicly with open doors. Monasteries and convents. The priest in that formidable case in the witness box. No browbeating him. He had his answer pat for everything. Liberty and exaltation of our Holy Mother the Church. The doctors of the Church. They mapped out the whole theology of it. The priest prayed. Bless Michael. Archangel. Defend us in the hour of conflict. Be our safeguard against the wickedness and snares of the devil, may God restrain him. We humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, wicked spirits who wander through the world for the ruin of souls. The priest and the mass boy stood up and walked off. All over. The women remained behind. Thanksgiving. Better be shoving on. Rather buzz. Come around with the plate perhaps. Pay your Easter duty. He stood up. Hello. Were those two buttons of my waistcoat open all the time? Woman, enjoy it. Never tell you. But we. Excuse. But there's a wood just to wolf off. Or there's skirt behind. Placket unhooked. Thwumpses of the moon. Annoyed if you don't. Why didn't you tell me before? Still like you better and tidy. Good job it wasn't further south. He passed. Discreetly buttoning. Down the aisle and out through the main door into the light. Behind two worshippers dipped furtive hands in the low tide of holy water. Trans. A carve for Scots jerks. A widow in her weeds. Notice because I'm in mourning myself. He covered himself. How goes the time? 1:15. Time in a fit. Better get that lotion made up. Where is this? And yes. The last time. Swinney's in Lincoln Place. Chemists rarely move. Their green and gold beacon jars too heavy to stir. Hamilton Longs. Founded in the year of the flood. Huguenot churchyard near there. Visit someday. He walks outward along Westland Row. But the recipe is in the other trousers. Oh. And I forgot that latchkey too. For this funeral affair. Oh well. Puffo. It's not his fault. When was it I got it made up last? Wait. I changed the sovereign, I remember. First of the month it must have been, or the second. Well, you can look it up in the prescriptions book. The chemist turned back page after page. Sandy Sharville's smell he seems to have. Shrunken skull. Aloud. Quest for the Philosopher's Stone. The Alchemists. Jug stage you after mental excitement. Lethargy then. Why? Reaction. A lifetime in a night. Gradually changes your character. Living all the day among herbs. Ointments. Disinfectants. All his alabaster lila pots. Mortar and pestle. Bit. Or Tivirit. Small almost scary like the dentist doorbell. Dr. Wack. To be continued.